Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Japan news. We got some news here on the JP side a little bit later and obviously, delayed because of New Year's. I was kind of hoping that we get the details a little bit earlier in the week so I could just, knock out all those videos right away, but had to be a little patient. It's fine. Now let's talk about what we got. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the thing that I think is the most interesting, the two new vision cards. And honestly, taking a look at the two new vision cards, one of them is, I think, a disappointment, and the other is kind of interesting. So first of all, let's talk about this card, the lower tier MR/SSR rarity card. Now this card features Yerma, Itoa, and Nashia all on one piece of artwork, and I never really have any complaints about the Wotv vision card artwork. It pretty much always looks really good. In some cases, it looks amazing. We'll get to talking about Phoenix. But this card, I have to say I'm actually a little disappointed in the effect. So party ability for ice units, basically it gives like wind attack resistance, and single attack resistance as well. So it essentially works to make ice parties stronger. But against wind? Really? Probably could have used some fire resistance if we were talking about ice units, but I don't know. Also, the granted effect is just defense up for an ice unit, which, together that makes kind of interesting. I mean, if you raise Nashia, and Nashia, as we'll talk about, is about to get her EX job, which is also a big note, and I'm going to be watching that one with... I'm going to be watching that one really closely for a couple of reasons, but honestly, this vision card just seems kind of weird for the wind resistance, because wind units I don't think was a real problem for ice before. I mean, this is, potentially makes an ice team tankier, and it's a lower cost card, so those are always good. But I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't give anything for Toa, and it especially doesn't give anything for Yerma either. It would have been nice, because all three of these characters I feel are a little more than a little underpowered, and this is before we're seeing their EX jobs. But I was still kind of hoping that we get a little bit extra support for three characters that I feel have gone more under the radar, and definitely would like to see them get some more support. So this vision card, it may not necessarily be bad depending on the actual numbers once we see the final numbers, but I don't know, I'm not overly impressed by it. All right, talking about something that is much more impressive, let's talk about Phoenix. Phoenix, of course, obviously the big benefit of this vision card is getting the summon, and the summon this time looks to be that it is going to be just a general fire summon. Cool. We've needed one of those for a while, I feel like, especially a permanent one in the pool that is of UR rarity. Basically, there looks to be some don't move resistance on Phoenix, but also I think the important thing is just that it's supporting fire units, specifically fire attack up. There is no mention of a specific damage type, which is good, because this could just be the support that Lord Mont and Larudo or Luartha all have needed, and this could be just a really strong bonus to fire elemental characters. So I'm really happy to see that this is coming to the game. Phoenix itself also is pretty interesting because it is a healer based summon. It will also be a 3-star healer summon when it comes out on the JP side, so could be pretty powerful. But looking at it, and yes, I know Ifrit is too, but Ifrit kind of works towards spears, and there really isn't a fire spear that isn't limited. Okay, just address that right now before I get comments about, you never mentioned Ifrit. I offer my apologies to all the Ifrits that came before and all the ones that'll come after, especially the Final Fantasy 15 one. That's scary. All right, but yeah, this summon gives a healing effect as well as a regen effect, which is kind of interesting, because really, like, one of the things I was curious about was whether it was going to be a raise summon, but that would probably be too strong, and giving it re-raise, well, that might have given him more of a reason for Gilgamesh's ability to be what it is. Which I haven't actually done a video talking about EX jobs, but I'll do an impression of EX jobs in a video possibly in the future. Honestly, another healer summon is kind of interesting, especially because it synergizes well with some of the fire units. Not particularly Luartha, even though her hanging back for being a gunner might be a little bit of strategic consideration. But both Larudo and Lord Mont both are fire-based characters that are extremely tanky, brawly type characters. So them getting a healing-based summon that could still power up their fire elemental abilities, cool. That might actually be, or should I say hot. Granted ability is HP boost. As for the party ability for fire elemental characters, I do believe it is basically resistance and protection, which is kind of nice. One of the big things on this vision card was the fact that it was going to get magic protection as well, which is a pretty big thing for Lord Mont as well as Larudo, mainly because both of those characters I have felt needed a little bit more. That was the other one. We'll talk. I got it. Okay, so magic protect was something that Mont really didn't. The new double cost Mont didn't really have protection against, nor did he really have piercing resistance, and this vision card has it. If it's level maxed, it gives fire units piercing resistance, which kind of blocks a little bit against glassy, and this card itself just blocks against water magic. So that kind of shores up Mont as a tank in all areas. What was interesting was the Mont vision card just didn't do this. I mean, I guess you have to create problems to sell solutions to, right? But overall, I find it kind of interesting just that the Phoenix card feels a little bit more completion for Lord Mont, whereas his vision card, I don't know if I like it as much. Of course, the numbers depend, but Phoenix looks like a solid summon and a good get for fire elemental characters. And I'm assuming that also based on the fact that it doesn't really have a specific damage type, so it should have a fair amount of its board can be devoted to just and this is before we actually see the board. It could be that they just didn't mention that it's another slash summon, but I'm really got my fingers crossed that we're not seeing any more slash summons, because I feel like there's enough. All right, returning will be Itoa's quest, along with the farming for the gold blade and the axe, as well as I do want to say that the the spear and the fist are also coming back. So spear, so if you haven't finished that, I guess you can get that done. Big thing for EX jobs, we're getting 3 new EX jobs. This is kind of interesting because there's 2 jobs here specifically that we're going to be seeing the EX versions for the first time. So taking a look, like Itoa, I don't hold super high regards for Itoa, although being lower rarity, she might be worth a build, really pending on what she gets upgraded. Nasha, on the other hand, I think is one that I'm going to be watching very carefully, not only because she's getting essentially a vision card that improves her, but also because as a slightly cheaper tank, I know some people have built her, and it's kind of the first time we're going to be seeing her job get a actual EX. So how does that job end up getting improved? Is she going to get hate generation? Is she going to get more defensive based stuff? Is she going to become a much better tank? I think it would be a really good thing if she did, for people who didn't get Lord Mont to potentially have a decent tank and a cheaper cost one. But, you know, really, I think that this might speak worlds as to what angle we'll get in the future. A general direction as to what that could be, but interesting nonetheless. And as for Yerma, Yerma is one of those units that I feel like is just kind of a little, like her kit is probably just a little too outdated to be to have really high hopes for, even though I kind of do like Yerma. I don't know if I have incredibly high hopes that her EX is going to fix all of her problems. It could be interesting to see if a Viking just becomes like a berserker or something like that, because at this point it definitely needs something. So hopes in the sense that this is something new and could get something really good, but not holding out the biggest hopes for this one just yet. But either way, we'll take a look at it later, and these units will also get a job point boost. Only there was a farming boost to help people build them a little bit easier. By the way, just a side note for EX jobs, double rates, just it sucks. Triple rates are nothing at this point, is kind of my feeling in the game. All right, we do have a brand new raid coming to the JP side, the Iceberg raid. Kind of wondering about how this one is going to go. I have a feeling that the Iceberg is going to be potentially annoying. Maybe we're going to have slow status effects off this thing. From what I remember in Brave Exvius, there were some status effects in that trial. But the boss itself is ice and weak to slashing, so of course this is Fire Mont. Rain will probably do pretty adequate depending on what type of damage this enemy does. But even if Rain has fire and slashing capabilities, so he should be plenty good in this raid. But definitely Supermont is going to be the one that is going to be really good here. It's unfortunate though that this is a slashing weak boss, but the most recent and some of the bonus units are for this raid are including 9S and 2B. And just for the fact that Mont is a fire slash puts 2B in a really bad situation since he's a wind slash going up against an ice boss. So I'm not super happy about this because it's a little disappointing, but there it is. There it is. As for the bonus boss, we have the mini dragon this time, who is a water attribute, weak to puncture and slash, so basically lightning, puncture, slash. Orlando's really happy, I guess, to see this. 9S's will do well in this one as well, and I guess 2B's can do okay as well, but I gotta say 2B really got the short end of the stick in all of this, just really not getting anything, which kind of sucks. As for the bonus units, to take a look at what we got here, of course, King Mont is big, as well as 2B and 9S as well. All three of those units will get a large bonus. Gilgamesh, Yerma, and I do believe Old will also get a medium bonus. And last but not least, the small bonuses, Alim, Atoa, Nasha, and yeah, so that's basically it. What we're getting for this one is a new piece of armor, the Brigadine armor, which will be UR quality. Interested to see how that improves Mont, as everything right now is just for Mont. And as for my JP players, you will having a special series of guild battles coming up here. 3 types: male, female, and cost of 500 or less. So it's going to be working on this kind of a schedule where every single day it's going to be a little bit different. So starting on Friday, going till the 18th, it'll be different every day, where some days you're going to need female characters only, some day you're going to need male characters, and you're going to need a slightly smaller cost party. So plan accordingly. So yeah, that's basically all the Japan news for this week. Phoenix looks cool. Gonna be interested to see where the EX jobs leave some of these units in terms of their power level, but some of these kits are probably just feeling a little bit too old, so I'm gonna probably put my bet that the best thing of the week is gonna be the Phoenix on the JP side. Well, who knows? Maybe next week in January we'll get some other characters that are not double cost. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.